There are a million things out there, or just water.
Any fluid, for the most part, is going to count.
And is it true that fluids that contain caffeine generally cause us to secrete sodium?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you recommend including electrolyte powder or a small pinch of sodium or any number of other supplement type electrolytes that can replace that sodium, magnesium, and potassium?
A couple of things we have to pay attention to accurately answer that question. What you also sort of asked about, you may have not realized, is does caffeine actually enhance dehydration, which is not really what you asked, but it's probably a lot of people thought that as well. So caffeine can, but coffee doesn't necessarily do that, because remember, you're co-ingesting that with fluid. So we used to say that all the time, coffee dehydrates you. It doesn't. It might make your urine yellow. It certainly gives off an odor in your urine. But in general, coffee will not do that because you're ingesting. If you were to now be taking caffeine pills alone, now there is a bit of a diuretic effect there. And so you're going to urinate. How much? Maybe not enough for you to be really concerned with, especially when you balance that against the ergogenic effects and benefits of caffeine. It's not something we are concerned about. Second part of your question, do you need to then offset the loss of sodium? I'm not super concerned about the amount of sodium lost to caffeine. I am more concerned about simply the amount of sodium being correct because of the bigger circumstances, like how much is actually in your system and how much you lost in the training session. So it's not the caffeine that I care about that much relative to, if you lost 3 grams of sodium because of the training and you added another few milligrams because of the caffeine, I don't really care or didn't.
I'm glad you brought up the difference between a substance like caffeine and the vehicle it's contained in, like coffee. This is all really important, and it also raises a question about individual differences in sweating ability. And I call it sweating ability because I have a good friend I've known for ages, really. Actually work with him in my laboratory as well. And he's one of these people that the moment he starts any physical activity, it's like a flood warning, right? He just soaks through clothing. It's just the sweating adaptation is exceedingly robust in him. Other people less so. So is it true that sweating and our ability to dump heat through it by loss of water is something that we tend to vary on, and that also that we can build up that capacity? I know a number of people are probably thinking, ew, gross, why would I want to sweat more? There's actually a huge advantage to be able to dump body heat during exertion, because body heat in some ways sets the cap for performance.
In many ways.
Including mental performance. Our ability to stay alert often is enhanced by being cold, and of course we all want to warm up properly. But in terms of loss of fluid through sweating, is there a way to easily bin ourselves into kind of a low sweater, medium sweater, heavy sweater? That sounds like an article of clothing, but in any case, you know what I'm.
Man, a lot to say here. Wish we had a whole series on this.
Listen, if we have to go 17 hours, we can do it. Just everybody hydrate well.
I think we've shown the listeners that is a real threat. That's a very real threat.
Podcasting to failure. You don't have to do every set in the gym to failure, but here we are attempting to podcast to failure. In all seriousness, yes. What is the role of sweating ability, and is this something that any of us should care about or train for or pay attention to, or is this just kind of getting into the arcane?
Number one, you can train your ability to sweat. This is important for heat acclimation, and why that matters. When you sweat, that actually is not what regulates your temperature. What you want to have happen is the fluid to hit your skin and that to be evaporated. That's the actual mechanism.